Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Business Analysis Simplified, where we take a business analysis technique, idea, concept, we simplify it, and then we draw some principles out of those ideas and techniques, and we apply them to our daily living. Yours truly, your host today is Ola Ofime, and your co-host, and she's going to be joining us in a second. Her name is Kemi Dan Olabi, popularly known as KDO. I'll be pulling her in a matter of seconds as soon as I see her show up on the screen. But before we get there, how was your week? I hope you had a great, amazing, fantastic, exciting week. I don't know if my week qualified all of those adjectives that I just used right now, but pick and choose. And if you want to redo, next week is almost here. But before we get to next week, this is weekend. So enjoy your weekend. Relax, unwind, kick back, whatever you gotta do. Watch a movie, go hiking. If you can hike wherever you are in the part of the world where I'm at, no, there is no hiking just yet. I could go for a walk, a brief walk, because it's still a little snowy out there. Nonetheless, wherever you are, take advantage, maximize it, enjoy your weekend as best as possible. If you're in employment, next week is almost here, but you want to relax before that happens. Okay? Awesome. So I am bringing in KDO, and I brought her in. Yay! How are
Today,
you
talk
doing?
about hiking and all of this fun stuff. Kick back, relax, watch a movie, enjoy.
Yes. Yes. I was helping people understand, our audience understand that life is not just about work, 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 work. Right? You got to take time to rest a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
And I was saying, if you're in paid employment, Monday is almost here. But before Monday comes, this is still weekend. So let us maximize it as best as possible.
Mhm.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. And
Hope
yourself?
you. I'm doing fantastic. So I put like five adjectives at the beginning. I said I hope you had an amazing, exciting, fantastic week. And I was like, I don't know if my week qualifies for all those adjectives. Maybe just one. So fantastic. Yes, my week was good. And I see you have something going on there. What's
Yeah.
that? Never give
Ne-
up, never surrender. Ooh,
Mhm.
I like that. Yay. Yes.
Never give up. I'm all about the goals and the dreams and aspirations. Never give up on those ones because you got just one life to live, and these ain't dress rehearsals. You got to make it count, right?
Absolutely. Yes, make it count. Every minute, every moment, make it count. Yeah, okay. So today we're going to be talking about another business analysis technique that I know you guys are going to really, 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 really love. I don't know if they love it in organizations. I think they do. Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this one is called roles and permissions matrix. You could
Mhm.
put the matrix aside for a second, roles and permissions, right? In organizations, in the weekly video that we run, I mentioned something like clear boundaries make for good neighbors. If you have a neighbor, I'm pretty sure they want a boundary, like a fence between your house and their house, because that's how you, register your territory. You say from
Mhm.
here to here, is this belongs to me, right? Same in organizations.
Yeah.
When you hire people, it's not just a one-man show. You hire people into different roles and titles, and that by extension translates into the systems that you have. So all the software that you use, that titles, those roles and responsibilities has to reflect in there too. So you have someone in the financial managerial role, you have someone in the administrator role, you have someone in the account receivable roles, account payable
Yeah.
roles, and all that. And in the system, what happens is you only give them permissions to the roles, to their roles, right? And the data that is associated to that role, because you don't want one person, it's not a one-man show, you don't want one person issuing purchase order, receiving those orders when they come, and then paying accounts, sending invoice, receiving those invoice, and then doing financial reconciliation at the end. Something somewhere is going to go amiss. right?
Yeah,
Something is going to.
absolutely.
So having that segregated duties and responsibilities eliminates those conflicts. It eliminates finger pointing to say, oh, or overlapping duties too, right? So we identify those roles and then we assign permissions based on the specific roles that we've identified for softwares. And then we give access to those roles so that it could do their work effectively and adequately. That's how we do it in organizations. And so I'm gonna hand it over to you so that we could draw principles from it that we could use in our daily lives. So roles and permissions, KDO, how can we apply that to our everyday living?
Okay.
Here you go.
So we're going to make this as real can be. Number
Mm.
one, yesterday was the International Women's Day.
Woo. Yes.
So we gotta celebrate that. We've got to acknowledge that, and kudos to all women all over the world. Women that are stepping up, doing what they should do. Making homes, building lives, building their family, building industry, and just making a difference in their community, in their neighborhood, and in the world at large. We celebrate you, we see you, we say thank you for all that you do. And to the men too that take on the roles of women, we see you, we celebrate you, they say thank you for all that you do. So, and it is so appropriate a time to talk about roles and permissions. It almost feels like roles and responsibilities,
Right?
but yeah, roles and permissions is actually the apt way to talk about this stuff. So what exactly is, I know we've talked about different roles in organizations and how it makes for things to go well. Like for instance, the CEO is different from the HR manager, different from the maintenance manager, different from you name it, different people, different roles. And that's what makes the organization go round. In our world today, there are different roles too. There is the man and there is the woman. I don't know if there's anything in between, but I know the world is going all over where the world is going about that. But I'm going to stay within those two major roles that we know and we've grown with, man or woman. What are the roles? What exactly is the role of a woman? What exactly is the role of a man? And who defines those roles? Who determines who should do what? Right? And I know there's a lot of school of thoughts on this one, and it could be as controversial can be. But whether we like it or not, there has to be clearly defined roles and permissions, of course. And when we're saying permissions, it's not like, don't think about a rulership kind of thing, because again, we're talking organizations here. It's not like the CEO is the lord and of the manor. He's not the one that comes and controls everybody and pushes everybody around. No, it's just saying, okay, I am the CEO, chief executive officer, right? That is his role. He's got some work to do. In fact, the Bible does say that if you're going to lead, you definitely must be the servant of all.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So the CEO must be the one that is the servant of everybody. I know that when we look at it, we're almost tempted to think, oh yeah, the cleaner, the gateman, the security guys. No, he that must lead must first serve. That is what it is. So the title does not give you the permission. I like that, roles and permission. Title does not give you the permission to mistreat or lord it over others. It just tells you what you should be doing to make this organization like a well-oiled machine. So in the home too, it's the same thing. We've got the man, we've got the woman, we've got the children, and we've got the dogs, we've got the cats, we've got the animals, we've got all of those things in between. So what are the roles? And I know somebody is going to start pulling their chair. Hey, let's sit down and hear what they are going to say. What is KDO going to say? Oh, come and hear.
Yes, let KDO define roles for us so we know. Yeah.
Let's talk about roles. And I'm going to shock you this morning by saying that roles of a man and that of a woman will definitely differ home to home. It's going to be different. In fact, the greatest challenge you're ever going to find or you're going to put upon yourself is to compare your neighbor's family to yourself. is to try to keep up with the Joneses and say, what are the Joneses doing? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Or what happened in my father's house is what's going to happen in my house. You're already setting yourself up for failure, right? Just like an organization. The way Amazon runs, if another organization decides to run like that, they may be heading for disaster. Each organization must know their strengths and know what exactly were we commissioned for. What is our purpose, right? What exactly is our purpose? So I'm going to put it this way. For us to be able to have the clearly defined roles, there must be communication. You did mention it that when somebody is employed into an organization, one of the first things they do is what? They call it orientation. What is orientation? Orientation is a mini indoctrination to tell you that this is how we roll here, this is what we do, this is the expectation, this is how, this organization runs. And you better take that to heart, because that is the first level of communication you're going to be having coming to an organization. The same thing. These days, I see many people, oh yeah, we're dating, and then now we're getting married, and they spend months and months and months and months planning for the wedding. Didn't say that is bad, but what about the marriage itself? It's like an organization that spends millions and millions on the hiring process. Oh, you've gone all around the world. These are the best of the best, the cream la cream. You brought them into your organization. And day one, everybody is just sitting and looking at each other. No orientation, no communication. What should this person be doing? This person in this role. Now, we're not even talking about who the person is. What this role, what is the expectation that you should be doing day one, week one, month 3, after 1 year? No communication, no expectation. So everybody just sitting, and everybody is, whatever you can do is what you're, that I can guarantee you that organization is not gonna be there for long. It's the same thing with families. When we plan our weddings and we don't plan the marriage, we are heading for disaster. It's a recipe. And that's why a lot of families are where they are today, because that communication wasn't there. That orientation wasn't done. Expectations were not communicated.
Yeah, and at times the expectations change.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
That ties back to that that communication has to be then ongoing, because as soon as it changes, you bring that person on board or up to speed that, what, when during the interview we hired you to actually do this, and that, but now that you're on ground, some needs have arisen, and then we gotta pivot to something else, right? Going forward, this is what you're gonna do up to now. So that constant communication is really key. I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, that word, it's key. Ongoing. Not, oh yeah, we spoke last year. That should be enough. No, that it has to be ongoing. Like, you have to keep communicate. In fact, that is what is going to keep that relationship alive. Communication. So we need to know where we stand. We need to know what we're doing. And for most of us, particularly people of the African descent, what we call the what do they call it now? Parochial kind of family, where exactly.
Yeah.
So where the man is the head of the home, and what does being the head of the home mean? Again, it's going to differ from family to family. Yeah. I know that typically you look at your head, yeah, that's where the brain is, that's where this is. He has the eyes, he's the one that can see, he's the one that talks, he's the one that can hear, because everything's on the head. But guess what? A head without a body is just going to be, in fact, it's going to be buried, because how do you move around? You're literally dead. The heart is not there, right? And the head, he that would lead must serve.
Absolutely.
So I say to couples, the man must be willing to serve his family. And again, the body serves the head, because they're going to pump blood, they're going to do all of that. So it's going to be a continuous flow of service.
It is.
The man is serving his wife is serving the man, and they are both serving their family, and as a family they are serving their community. It has to be an ongoing thing. We're serving each other.
Like interdependencies or codependencies.
Inter and co. The man must depend on the woman must depend on the man. Because that's the essence of marriage. You've come together, now we're one. Right? So we're codependent, we are interdependent, we're dependent on each other. And when things change, we must be able to communicate those changes quickly and appreciate what each person is bringing to the table.
Right. So one thing, KDO, that's jumping into my mind now as we're talking through it is, depending on the kinds of relationships you have in your life. So you're married to a man, that's a man-woman relationship. You have a best friend, that's a maybe lady-to-lady relationship or man-to-man relationship, whatever that is. You have your kids, you have a parent-to-child relationship. Depending on the on which level you're operating per time, your roles change.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you gotta be able to quickly adapt depending on that relationship that you're that you're working on currently. So for instance, me particularly, in my family, if we have to travel, I will be the one to look for the airplane, the ticket, to find where we're going to lodge, to find what Uber we're going to take if we're renting a car and all that. But when I'm with my best friend, I just relax. If it's my best friend and I'm traveling, I just relax because she knows how to do that way more than I can. And I don't even try to meddle at all because I know she's good at it. And they don't try to meddle in my business too because they think I'm good at it, even though I'm not good at it.
No, but hold on, Ola, before you start, going that route. We know that you've never like once got them to the wrong airport. You've never, like, you guys were not headed for London and then you found yourself in Afghanistan. It hasn't happened.
Good job over time.
But to your point, roles will shift depending on the relationship. It will shift depending on the relationship. Again, with an organization, let's say you guys are located in Calgary. You in Calgary, you are the CEO or you are the operations manager in Calgary. When you go to the regional level, there is a regional manager, there is a regional CEO. Then at that point, you're not going to sit at the head of the table. You're going to sit where all the other, you understand what I'm saying? So roles are going to change. When you're with your friend, the roles are going to change. The way I will talk to you shouldn't be the way I'll talk to my husband. Yeah, he's my friend, so he's my best friend, but it's going to be different. There's got to be, even in our relationship, there's got to be respect. We've got to respect each other, mutual respect. It has to be there. And just like you said, when we're traveling, and this is for everybody listening, and Ola, you already went there. When we're traveling, I'm the one that, if I'm traveling with Ola, I'm the one that's thinking, okay, where are we staying? Where, this one. But guess what? When it comes to, okay, what are we wearing? I defer to Ola completely because that is her forte, right? But when I'm home, I'm the one that takes care of the clothing for the family. Like everybody just depends on mom. Oh, mom's gonna figure it out. Mom's gonna figure it out, right? So it's interesting and amazing. But we've got to understand individual roles and how we fit in. And when those roles change, particularly what I just want to quickly go here before we come back to what we're talking about. Let's say, for instance, in your family, the husband is the one that brings home, he's the one that's working, he's the one that's career oriented, and you choose to do business on the side. Or you agree that you're going to even stay home, even though I find it difficult to understand that. I'm sorry. I don't think I could survive in just being at home and taking care of the family. That is a lot of work. Trust me, it is a lot of work. Keeping home is a lot of work. But it's just that, we're wired differently.
And quickly to chip in, sorry to cut you, but to chip in and then you continue your line of thought. You will know it's a hard work keeping at home or running a home because of the number of nannies that you run through over the year, right? You hire a nanny and you'll be like, oh my God, this is a lot of work, I'm quitting. And then you hire another one. That's a sign there that it's a lot of work that you're doing.
Honestly, I give it to women that like fully, completely stay home and keep the home. It's a lot of work. But to the story or to the point, analogy I'm trying to paint here, let's say that's what it is. The guy's the one working, and maybe like in my family, my dad was like the go person, was the one traveling. Mom was a teacher, right? She was in the teaching industry, and so she was always home. She didn't leave until 7:30. She was home at maybe 7 o'clock. She was home by 3:30. That kind of structure. But let's say that's how it was in my family. But guess what? I went to school. I studied engineering. It's going to be foolhardy for me to think I'm going to leave the house at 7 and come back at 3:30. It's not going to work because by virtue of the career I have even chosen, that dynamics is going to be different. right? But
Absolutely.
let's assume that the wife is a teacher, the husband is the one that is going. But something happens. This guy loses his job.
Ooh.
Then there has to be a quick change. There has to be a communication that goes on that says, okay, this has happened. We're going to be okay while you're looking for something. The woman may have to step up. So that's why we're talking about roles and responsibilities. I know it's roles and permission, but even in a stable, structured environment in the home, there has to be roles clearly defined. The kids needs to know. Sometimes I'm joking with the kids when they ask me something, I say, go talk to your dad. My oldest would look at me and say, Mom, you know that we always come to you for this. What are you saying? Go. Dad's going to say, go talk to your mom again anyway. And this is me just looking for 5 minutes of respite. So I tell, go talk to your dad. Because of course, we all know in the family that dad is going to say, go talk to your mom. And then at least that gives me like 5-10 minutes to breathe before he comes back and I can process what this young man is asking of
Do
me.
you do good cop, bad cop too? Like someone, and
Please.
do you switch that role, or it's always a permanent good cop and a permanent bad cop?
You've got to switch. If you don't switch, it's going to be trouble for the family. Because if the kids think that dad is the harsh one, wicked one, doesn't love us, mom is the one that we can go to for a back rub and all of that, that's not fair. You are not helping the dynamics of the home. So you must be able to switch back and forth, back and forth. You be the good cop, you be the... But the most important thing is between husband and wife or between the man and the woman, we're communicating. We have an ongoing communication on what we're doing and how we're dealing with the family. Because the kids are going to just show up with a lot of things. Not even the kids alone. The neighbors are going to show up with something. Something is going to happen. The economy is going to throw some,
wrinkles, some wrinkles into the.
And to your point, when we're talking about why we need roles and permissions, you mentioned 3 things that are really key. You talked about to be able to maintain security, to be able to maintain compliance and efficiency.
Absolutely.
So if our homes are going to be secure, and I'm not just talking about the physical vandalism or a safe breaking in, I'm talking about security within the house, that the man feels comfortable at home, the woman feels at peace, and the kids feel secure. There has to be clearly defined roles. The kids must know what to do and what not to do. It has to be, if as people, in fact, the world as we know it would function on structure. Remember, the world was made. The light was separated from the darkness, the firmament from this. Structure. That is how we thrive as people. We don't thrive in chaos. That is why when there is war and there is anarchy, nothing is moving. But when there is a structure, there is order, there is governance, good governance, the people flourish. So the same thing in our homes, there must be structure. The kids must know when to wake up, guys. They know time to wake up and what to do next, and what to do after that, and what to do after that, and what to do after that. They must know when to go to bed. They must know. There must be structure in the house, and the structure is going to happen based on clearly defined roles and permissions. What are they permitted to do? In my home, the kids know that during the week there is no gadget, no TV, no games, no nothing. It is a spoken rule. Everybody knows it. So the moment you know you're on TV, you wouldn't even try it. But let's assume that you mistakenly want to put on the TV on a Tuesday. Of course, your siblings are going to come after you. That, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to put us in trouble. Because, of course, the other ones too, they cannot close their eyes. They are looking at what the TV that you put on.
We're going to watch it together. We're going to be in trouble together.
So the structure, there has to be order. My dear young man and woman, you're about to get in. I know this one is taking so long. Okay. You're about to get into a relationship. You are in a relationship. You're planning a wedding. You just got married. Your marriage is 1 year old, 10 year old, 50 years old. It doesn't matter. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today.
Absolutely.
If our relationships are going to thrive, if our friendships are going to be meaningful, if our families are going to be an example of what we want them to be, we must have clearly defined roles. And when we talk about roles, like we already established, we're not talking about authoritative or authoritarian kind of system. We are talking about people just knowing what to do, and mutual respect, mutual dependency.
Yeah.
As a unit and as friends. So and all of that is hinged on communication. We must be able to communicate to each other. If even as BFFs, you see us smiling all the time, you're like, these girls, they seem to like always, oh no, let's say girls.
Yes, girls. We're girls. Yeah.
Ladies, they just seem to always be smiling and smiling. Trust me, it's because we're always communicating. If I feel like, oh, what did Ola just say? Did I not get it? I'm going to ask, what did you mean when you say X, Y, Z? Because I thought it meant A, B, C, and all that. Like, oh, come on, KDO. It meant X, Y, Z. I'm like, oh, sorry. And we move on. But there has to be that constant communication. So for healthy, strong, meaningful relationships, we must be able to clearly have defined roles. And when you give somebody a role, and this is to my fellow men, when you already assigned a role to someone, let them trust.
Let them do it. Yeah.
Do it. You tell a child to sweep. The child is sweeping. You're doing what do they call it? My kids call it backstreet driving. No, backseat.
Oh, backseat driving? I call it helicopter. Like you.
Yeah.
You give
the child is
them a responsibility and you're hovering over them.
Hovering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can be pretty annoying. So let's understand rules. Let's understand permissions. Let's have clearly defined boundaries. Let your friends know what you will take and what you will not take, so that there will be no surprises. Right? Let's be clear in our roles, in the permissions we're giving people in our lives too. Actually, we've got to have boundaries.
Yes.
Boundaries. Boundaries. They must be there. Right? Absolutely. So I think
we've beat the dead horse dead now.
And I want to also say, to our viewers, if you feel like there's something you want us to, particularly on this issue of roles, you want us to expatiate more, please feel free to DM myself, DM Ola, send a message, drop a comment. Let's talk about these things. Because remember, this is business analysis, but because we know that business analysis cuts across all spectrums of life, it affects our individual lives. And the knowledge we gain from this is helpful, useful for our everyday living. That's why we're doing this, right? So we come from the business analysis angle, but ultimately it's about having a good life. This one life that we've been gifted. Yeah. It's important that we live it right and that we live it well.
Yes, I like that. So, audience, thank you for staying with us the entire time. You've learned one or two, if not three. Use them, steal them, borrow them as you see necessary, and apply these principles that we've drawn out of roles and matrix. I keep using responsibilities now. Roles and permissions matrix, that technique that organizations use to better organizations, to better companies, to better, their systems, right? Use those principles in your everyday living and be intentional too. In your living, in your everyday living, be intentional, because when you use roles and permissions correctly, you would have, I know that word compliance might not really resonate with a family setting, but compliance is key, right? Your kids are complying with what you have instructed them to do. And then you have security. And like you said, KDO, it's not just security about locking the doors. You have emotional security, you have financial security, you have social security and all that. All imbibed, right? So draw all those principles and apply them to your daily living. And of course, you will see your family thriving, your friendship thriving, and you're building that bond. It's becoming stronger every single time. Okay, so like KDO said, if you need anything that you want us to talk about more, please let us know and we'll do justice to that topic. Right? Okay, until next time, we are signing out and we say take care and be intentional, guys, in your everyday living. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.